Do you want to know where the real value is gained whenever you own property? I'm going to show you some new perspectives on that. And just to preface this, this isn't an inclusive thing. I'm only going to spend a few minutes on this, so I can't possibly talk about everything. And these are going to be some pretty basic examples, but my intention is just to kind of bring a new perspective that maybe you haven't thought of. I already did another video on why pricier houses doesn't mean you're richer. So if the value of your house goes up, doesn't necessarily mean that you're more rich. But that was just one perspective, and I'm going to add a couple more here. So to clarify my point in the previous video, essentially if you have one house, say you paid cash for it, the price can go up or down with what it's valued, but relatively, one house always equals one house. So if you're going to swap into another house, you're not becoming any more wealthy unless you move to a cheaper market or if you're downsizing. So let's say you bought a home for $100,000 and you financed the entire thing with a mortgage, and then 15 years later you still owe about $67,000 after making payments on it, but the home is now worth $300,000. So the home tripled in price, or supposed value. But again, at this point, if you were to swap into another house, you wouldn't have gained anything. So where is this real value gain actually coming from, if it even exists? By far, the biggest reason why the price of your home has gone up is due to inflation, not necessarily because your house actually became more valuable. So if we take a look at the loan to value ratio of the original price of the home versus the $300,000 price and the current amount left on the mortgage, so 67,000 divided by 100,000 is 67% loan to value, and for the 300,000 it's only 22%. So what this really means is that if inflation stayed flat, you would only have 33% equity in your home. But because inflation inflated the price of your home to 300,000, you now have 78% equity in your home. Another way to explain this is just showing how the equity increased in your home. Say your home just stayed $100,000, your equity just increased. And so what happened is, instead of you owing essentially $67,000 on the $100,000 original price, you now only owe $22,000. And that's because inflation eroded the value of your debt. This is exactly what the United States government does too. They inflate the currency to erode the value of the national debt. So while I still believe that your home price tripling doesn't necessarily increase the value of your home, it does give you more opportunity to leverage the equity that you've earned in it. And it's especially useful if you're holding debt on it, because then that debt can be eroded away with inflation. And ideally, you deploy that debt into other assets.